What's up, guys? Today we're loading soybeans out of our grain bins, loading them into a truck, be hauled off. Got her headed down the road. We got some flat spots on our tires, so we're doing a little bit of bouncing. And this thing was plumb stopped up. Pretty confident we've got our issues there fixed. Here's some of our first planted corn. Maybe one day we'll have us one of these. Wouldn't we look good in that thing hauling chicken litter? We got the 5055E down here powering our auger. Loading this old truck up. We're gonna have to get in the bin and sweep it today, unfortunately. The worst part of having a bin. This is the bin we rented from another neighbor. They didn't need it. Our old auger here is about shot. Y'all let me know down in the comments what kind of auger y'all recommend, what brand or whatever. I'm leaning towards one with the pan on the end that you can like move out of the way for a tractor trailer. That's what I'm leaning to, probably like a Westfield. So y'all let me know what you think, what's your recommendations, or should I just wait and find a used one? Ours, the flighting is about shot, and it's been patched there in the middle of it multiple times. I've welded it up, JB welded it, taped it, about anything and everything you can think of. I even incorporated a little bit of rebar there, if y'all can see that. Took a piece of rebar, and I think a piece of an old propane tank, and cut it out and let it bevel up under there. It's been working. That part has, but flighting is pretty much junk. I've been keeping an eye out for used augers, but heck, half the time you find a used auger, they want $6,000 to $8,000 for it. Half the time they're halfway wore out. It's like, do I want to do that or buy a new one? But I definitely think we're going to lean towards one of the ones that's got the pan that you swing out. That way we don't have to unhook and hook the auger all the time. They are you actually pull them from the end of the auger, and the PTO shaft hooks from the end, so like you never have to hook and unhook the tractor like we do on this one. And hydraulic lift would also be a plus as much as we move bins. My grandpa bought this auger new way back in the day, and it's seen its better days. It's about had it. I think our next auger, we'll go ahead and bump up to a 10-inch auger too. And that'll allow us not to have to run the tractor as wide open. And if we ever was to buy or build bigger bins with a bigger unload auger, then we have the capacity to move the grain faster. Y'all gonna be able to see down in here or not. Still several beans left in this old bin. From what I understand, this bin should hold around 3,200 bushels. These soybeans, they had a little lower test weight last fall, so anyway, once it gets down below this door here, it's got a sweep auger already built into it. We'll just pull a little lever up there, which will engage it, and we actually won't have to get in there till the augers ran a little bit, which is nice, nicer than ours. Our bins at home, or my grandpa bins, there we have to get in the bin and put the actual sweep in ourselves, which is a job, especially when you're by myself like I am a lot of times. But we make it happen. I do like the auger on this bin, the unload, how it comes out and goes up. This one here is about wore out, but I do like that. Anyway, we're just loading these things up, and I gotta take it back to their shop. Put it in the shed so they can haul it. The question of the day is, these beans all gonna fit on this truck? I wasn't expecting a full load, and I'm fine, but I'm beginning to think we're not gonna be able to fit them all on this truck. Not that that's a bad thing, that's a great thing. More money in my pocket. But I don't think this is gonna be the last load. It's gonna be close. I'm getting pretty confident that we're not gonna be able to fit all these beans in that truck. We don't have much room left. We'll get a decent majority of them, but I don't think we'll fit them all. Either Coleman and I miscounted our loads, or failed to get a count a load, or something last fall. For the good Lord's doing like He did with the loaves of bread and the fishes, and multiplying them. Either way, I'm happy about it. Well, verdict's in. I mean, there probably ain't 50 bushel in there if there's that many. But our truck is loaded. As y'all can see there. There's no way I could fit that on it. We got a little bit stuck to the walls over here. Got a little mildew on it. It's just outside of the wall. I don't know if that's the side that the sun don't hit or the side the sun does hit or what. But y'all can see the little bit of mildew right there, just on that side. So I'm pretty confident it wasn't our beans was too wet. I think it was just the atmospheric conditions and being inside this little tin can. I gotta touch base with my neighbor and see if he wants me just to bring this, what's left, up to him, and then him haul them off later with a load of his beans, or when he brings this truck back, if he wants me to put what little bits in it, and then maybe him put more on it. Anyway. Yeah, say we got a load. Probably all this Mac wants. I'd say we're pretty close to 1,000 bushels on this load. But this setup right here, the Mac truck and the dump trailers, probably what Coleman and I are going to end up with, something similar. Maybe not quite as nice and new as this truck, but that's what we're after anyway. Then we can haul our own beans, haul chicken litter a lot faster. Whew, and not rely on other people. This air conditioning feels good though, boys. Whew. Well guys, we got the gravity wagon loaded. We got probably 150 bushels for the gravity wagon. And we got the semi-truck fully loaded, so that was quite a bit more than I thought. I guess when we were tallying up our numbers last fall, we missed a truckload or something. But hey, that's always a good thing. Always good to have more. Everybody around home's been stuck to baling hay this week. I guess we missed out on all the fun. We did catch a little rain shower this evening, which was a blessing. Wasn't a lot, but a little bit. Kind of getting dark back in there again. Also a good chance tomorrow evening, so hopefully we'll get some more. Maybe I can get the rest of the beans planted, about 5 acres, and then maybe I can get everything sprayed before it rains. Fingers crossed. All the beans are gone. Well, y'all, it looks like we have some life coming along. Some of our very first planted corn starting to pop out of the ground. We can already see a double there in the middle. Won't be long. We're gonna have us a luscious field of corn, I hope. Got rain supposed to be coming this evening, so let's get this stuff up and get it off to a good start. Fingers crossed. And today we're gonna take our John Deere 9500, the one we purchased at auction this spring real early for $8,000. We're gonna take it to our home shop. It's been sitting in a neighbor's shed for the last few months. We're gonna take it home, start getting to work on it. We got to service it, get everything ready, check it over really good, and we've got to move our loop yield monitor system from our John Deere 6620 over to this John Deere 9500 and get it ready for wheat harvest here in a little over a month. So as I'm letting the old girl warm up here, just kind of quickly show y'all the cab. I know some of y'all have seen it and some of y'all remember, but we picked this combine up this I guess early spring or winter for $8,000 at auction, and it's It's been sitting in a neighbor's shed because we don't really have an extra shed. But this particular neighbor, their combine burnt down last year over the winter, over the fall. They haven't had a combine sitting in this shed, so they were gracious enough to let me park mine in here. And they have a new one coming this week, so I'm gonna get mine out, and we need to get working on it anyway. Got her headed down the road. We got some flat spots on our tires, so we're doing a little bit of bouncing. Old girl fired right up, took right off. She'll be coming right over here to this next field up here to harvest wheat here very soon. She'll be coming to this field. This is one of our fields this year. Gonna be some long straight rows to put her to work on. Woo, would y'all look at that gorgeous girl. Broke her out of the shed. Got her out here in front of the shop. I'll be darned, it was a big machine before, but it really looks big now in front of my shop. Looks pretty good though. Coleman and I, we're gonna drain the oil out. We got all new filters for this thing. It's got 3 hydraulic filters, oil filter, a couple fuel filters. Jack's running around because he's excited because he thinks we're going for a ride. Little does he know we're not. All right, this is probably gonna be messy. Yeah, I think so. Hopefully this is where it comes out at, not somewhere else. So something we have learned is this is the blow-by tube here that comes off the motor, where the blow-by comes, the excessive crankcase pressure. This is also your oil drain. Pretty cool. John Deere had their heads in the game on that one. We're gonna drain her out. From everything I saw online, it's about 5.5 gallons. And we got some fresh Mobil 1 to put back in her. Spend about $1,000 on oil and filters on this thing. I would say she's pretty well spec on a little over 5 gallons. That bucket there's about full. It was about half full to begin with, and then this bucket right here was completely empty, and she's getting pretty full there. Coleman's up here, he's swapping the filter out now. And then we got to figure out how to do these hydraulic filters and not lose all of our hydraulic oil. We got new engine filters, fuel filters, oil filters. We are going to be ready to rock and roll. Marking when we done them and how many hours on the old girl. 44.91. Get this old girl ready to harvest some wheat here in about a month, give or take. The old grain hopper on this thing ought to hold about 100 bushel more than what our 6620 holds. Ain't gonna be no more 2 and a partial to fill up the dump truck. Gonna be 1 and a partial. It's a big old air filter. That thing was expensive. We want her to be able to breathe happy though.
It wasn't that bad, was it? I think it's like $100.
Yeah, something like that.
Shoot, that's cheap. I don't think that's the right washer.
This one probably goes there.
Huh?
So this one probably just goes like that, I was guessing. What's up, guys? Figured I'd give y'all a little weekly update here. This is one of our earlier planted soybean fields. We're on the Smith farm, and as y'all can tell behind me, they're coming up looking great. As y'all can see, they're all coming up good. This field here usually gets bombarded with deer, which I'm seeing a few little places where they've ate a little bit, but nothing terrible yet. So hopefully these beans can outgrow the deer. They're putting on their first sets of leaves. Looking pretty good. Most of our soybean fields like this that we planted early, they're already up and off to the races. And we've even got a little corn coming up, so see if I can get by and show y'all that. But it's coming along pretty good. I'm pretty tickled with our stand so far. Old Kenzie's been doing a good job. Here's some of our first planted corn. Starting to look pretty good. We can start to row it just a little bit. This was basically planted a week ago. It's fairly even emergence. I ain't gonna say it's perfect, but it ain't bad. You got a few skips here and there, but I'm pretty tickled with old Kenzie. I don't know if y'all can see it down through there, but you can start to see the rows greening up just a hair. So we're back on the combine. I think it's been a day or two since I brought you, or maybe yesterday. When was we out here? Last night? Losing track of time. Coleman and I come out here today between jobs, and we worked on this old combine. If y'all remember back from when I bought it, when I was going up some of the big hills on the way home, it would like almost die out completely. Figured it was probably fuel related. And then the last night, us working out here in the dark, we changed this fuel filter out. Well, there's a bleeder screw on top of the fuel filter, and to bleed it out, we were just gonna loosen that up and figured the gravity of the tank would fill it up rather quick. Well, it took like 5 minutes for that filter to fill up. So we knew we had a restriction. So coming out here today, we pulled our strainer out of the bottom of the tank after we ran all the fuel out. And this thing was plumb stopped up. I'll throw a picture up here so y'all can see it. We got that cleared out. We completely drained the tank. We're gonna flush the tank a little bit more. And while we had it off, the fuel hose that went from this fitting to the fuel filter housing there where Coleman's at, it wasn't in very great shape. So we got a couple of those made. This is the one that goes actually up there on the motor. And then we had a small hydraulic hose up there at the pump. This little bitty hose, it was getting in pretty bad shape, so we went ahead and got a new one of those made as well. Coleman blow that one out just in case. I don't think that one we don't want much fuel going, which that does still go through a filter. But anyway, we have or had some major algae in this tank and had that strainer completely clogged, and that was our issues when we were bogging down going down the road. 100% confident of that. And we didn't think our fuel gauge was working. So while we had the tank drained down, I pulled the fuel gauge out and I actually hooked it up. And we let Coleman sit in the cab. And we worked it up and down and the gauge was working. So thought we might put a new fuel gauge on it. It's working for now, so I'm gonna put it back in there and we'll see what it does. But yeah, so getting a few of our issues worked out here. Small issues, but not cheap issues. I mean, I bought 2 more fuel filters for this thing, a fuel filter for my sprayer, or excuse me, an engine oil filter for my sprayer. I bought this wear plate right here to go in the front of our feeder house, because as y'all can tell, this one is wore slap out. I bought that. I bought 2 header chains to connect our headers to our combines here. We don't have the PTO quick hooks like most newer combines have. They're still the chain couplers. Bought 2 of those. Bought a jug of oil and a few other little odds and ends, and it was like $700 through John Deere, of course. And then those 3 hoses, 2 fuel hoses, 1 hydraulic hose, and then I also got a bucket of oil, like we use for our Bobcats and stuff like that. We run a little bit cheaper grade oil in them. My John Deere stuff like this, I run John Deere in it. But the 2 hoses, or 3 hoses, and the bucket of oil, that was like $150 or something. So we have successfully spent about $800 today. And between what we spent so far, all of our filters and our oil we changed in this thing yesterday, we've probably got somewhere in the $1,500, $1,600 range in parts. So our $8,000 combine is now nearing $10,000. But still think we're gonna have a very good combine once we get everything straightened out. We still got to figure out the air conditioning system. It does not work currently. The guy told me that it would leak out over the winter, which a lot of our equipment sometimes does that. So I've got a nitrogen tank and regulators and everything. So we're going to put nitrogen through the system, pressurize the system, and spray everything down good and look for a leak. See if we can fix the leak so maybe we don't have to do this again next year. And I got to get that filled, but that'll be coming up. Coleman's putting fuel hoses on now, and we're gonna stick this thing back together and crank her back up. I learned learned from my mistakes when I went to work for Matt Griggs for the week about leaving a unclamped or an uncovered hose. This is where we took our hydraulic hose off, went from there to down here, and Matt Griggs' outfit didn't put a plug in it, and it ended up leaking and making a mess all over the floor. Well, I don't have any plugs, but I did take a nylon glove and zip tied it to the fitting, and it's like a udder now. Could probably poke a little hole in it, and we'd have a little hydraulic oil udder already. I know that's Matt Griggs' favorite sound in the whole wide world, that John Deere buzzer. Fuel going back in the old girl. Also put the new hose on right there. They were both getting pretty cracked. And that's the least thing we need is run out of fuel or a fuel hose break or something. A hydraulic hose breaks, most time you can get to the other end of the field or wherever you need to be, but fuel hose breaks, you're dead in the water. We're gonna get her filled back up, bleed everything back out, fire her up, see what else needs to be done. I know we've got a new belt for the chopper drive, or not the chopper drive. I know we got a new belt for the feeder house drive over there we got to put on at some point. And we also need a new chopper drive belt. But there was two different ones for this combine and there was no serial number break. So I came home, I got the part number and I'll give it to them. That's this belt. Overall it looks pretty good, but you got a couple little cracks like that in it. That won't last long. We also replaced this little hydraulic hose here. Goes from here to here. We always like to get the hose wrap put on them. Doesn't cost much extra and really protects from sunlight on these hoses. But we got that belt, and then this belt here definitely needs it. That one right there, y'all can see it's cracked up and there's actually a chunk missing out of it. That is the belt I have back here on the ground, or at least supposed to be anyway. About a $140 belt, so better be right. Better last us a long time too. What 140 bucks looks like right there, you guys. Darn pitiful nowadays what stuff costs. Wouldn't be our farm if we put it back together and something didn't leak. That dang gauge sensor, fuel sensor, I don't know if the O-ring slipped out of the way or what, but she's leaking like a sieve, so drain her back out again. We got her filled back up and no leakies. Evidently I just had that O-ring just a little bit out of position. We got everything primed back up. I think it's time to fire this old girl up and see if she'll crank. Make sure we ain't got no air in the system. We'll find out real fast. Like, I guess if you don't fire it up, I'll make sure this hose ain't gonna leak.
You got it primed?
Yeah, it should be. It's primed up to the primer. I didn't prime it past that, but I wouldn't think it'd leak past that, would you? Right up. It's like a John Deere does. Most of the time, anyway. Making sure we ain't got no leaks. Everything should be good. We'll have to give this old girl a bath now. Got enough diesel fuel and hydraulic oil on her to make everything under the sun stick to it. Well, we took the old girl up the road for a little spin, and we climbed this hill right here. It don't look that steep from here, but this is level, and the top of the road's way up there. It's a pretty long, hard, steep hill, especially turning out here from my driveway because you don't have any time to get any speed up it. Climbed it just fine, so pretty confident we've got our issues there fixed. Now, how long until we have more algae issues, I don't know. But I think we have the main part of that algae issues fixed. And a few other things we got to do to the combine. We got to get the air conditioning going and change out a few belts and stuff. And there's a bearing I think we're going to change out or two. And then just get all our settings changed to wheat, get our headers hooked up, make sure everything G-hauls. And I think we're going to be ready to cut some wheat here in about a month. Or at least I hope so. I really look forward to driving that machine. It really feels like we've moved up a whole lot, you know. That series is only one series newer than our 6620 we had. But it sure feels like it's a whole lot more than one step up. It feels like it's light years above it.